welcome everybody to Head to Head Sports. I'm your host, Brian Parker, along with my co host, Mr. Randall Hargrove. I'm going to ask anyway, but I think I have a
Yeah,
good feeling. Happy New Year. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. How was New York?
Oh, cold and snowy, but it was good. I thought I was going to avoid the snow, and it was waiting for me. It didn't appear the first 3 days, but then on that Saturday we got hit with about 8 good old inches up in Westchester County. So yeah,
I heard. My girlfriend was visiting family in Queens, and they told me all about it. So,
man. Yeah, the good thing about being in New York when it snows though is that their infrastructure is normally pretty good. So even though it's on the ground, they do a really good job of clearing the streets off. So good to look at, but and safe to drive at the same time.
yeah.
But they can keep it. I'm good. I don't need to see any more the rest of the year. Especially if I'm down in North Carolina, I damn sure don't want to see any of it. So that's just me. But yeah, how was your holiday?
Man, I'll tell you, the holiday was pretty good, but I cannot take any more of these Baltimore Steeler games. My heart can't take it. I can't take it, man.
I,
Can't
I
take it.
thought I thought so much about you
Whew.
watching that game, and I mean, especially when I thought about you most was um, when Pittsburgh could have went up by 3 and Boswell misses the field goal. And I said, "Oh shit!" and then Baltimore gets in the field goal range way too quick, and I'm like, "Oh God, this is elementary now. He's going to kick the field goal. They're going to win by 1, and the Fire Tomlin chants are going to be coming out. It's going to be, all kinds of doom and gloom, and I was just like, and then as soon as the kick goes wide right, I'm like."
Dude, I woke up my daggone daughter out of her sleep. He came downstairs and was asking if I was okay. I went ballistic
I
when
would
he
have said,
missed
no,
that
I'm not
field
okay. Actually, no.
But yeah, I'm like you. I'm sitting here thinking, okay, game's over, easy kick. Here we go again.
Yep,
Tomlin will be
yep.
gone by tomorrow. None of
Mm,
that. None of that. None of that. He shanked
damn.
that baby to the right, and I lost my freaking mind,
Like,
man.
it reminds, and it was funny because my man Brad had sent me something on Facebook where somebody had put together um, a reel of Jim Harbaugh telling the Ravens, saying something in the locker room about nobody being better than them or something like that, and then how their seasons kept ending one way or the other, whether it was they were up, then Lamar throws a pick, they're up, or they're about to be up. Andrews, fumbles the catch, and then they don't get in, uh, or when the dude's about to cross the goal line and it gets punched out right at the half yard line, and they end up losing. Or then, what was the other one? It was something crazy that had happened, but it's just always something that derails the Ravens at the end. It's just something crazy.
Yeah.
And then this one was added to it. Like all you got to do is kick the ball straight, and you're in the playoffs. And again, it's like there's a hex over that team.
That was dude's first missed field goal under 40 yards in like 40 attempts.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Crazy.
And he picked the right time to do it if you're a Steelers fan.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much, man.
This season has just, like I said, all along, it's just been one of the crazier seasons to watch. And we'll definitely go over some of the games, especially my Panthers being the NFC champs, and how
Wait,
that
what'd you
all,
say? What'd you say? Huh? What?
yeah,
Excuse me. Just woke up out my
NFC
dream.
South,
What?
NFC South champion Carolina Panthers, the 8-9 Carolina Panthers are the NFC champions since 2015.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and even though, people are going to point to the fact that they backed into it with Atlanta beating New Orleans, I'm going to say my vitriol for the officiating crew on Saturday that prevented them from having control of their own destiny with some of the craziest play calling. And it had to be so egregious because even the national media attention and folks that aren't Panther fans, I saw Cowboy fans coming to Carolina's behalf talking about how they got hosed and robbed in Tampa. So it had to be pretty damn egregious for that kind of attention. I haven't heard if that officiating crew has been downgraded, removed, or anything like that. But some of the play calls that they just came up with in key times. But we'll talk about that in 2 seconds. But just to kind of look ahead and then we'll look back. Rand, we've got Wild Card Weekend coming up this weekend. We've got the Panthers, as we mentioned, as the 4 seed playing the 5 seed LA Rams. This will be the second time this season that they played. If everybody remembers, the Panthers did somehow on their way to 8 wins this year. The Rams were one of those wins. So, there's a lot of people out there that's not giving the Panthers any chance to win this game. And I can understand the why to that. But had you said that even in their first meeting this year, no one gave the Panthers a chance to win the game. And they forced Matthew Stafford into a fumble, 2 interceptions. Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard ran for over 130 yards. Bryce Young passed for over 200 yards. So nobody gave them a chance to win then, and nobody's really giving them a chance to win now. But it's playoffs. Anything can happen.
I tell you right now, there's a formula to the Panthers beating the Rams. There's a formula. Mm-hmm. All the Panthers have to do is carry it out. That formula is, and you'll agree with me as soon as I say it, they got to control the clock by the running game.
Yep.
They got to run on first down and get a healthy dose of yardage to make it second and short, third and short, whatever they get to do. They got to control the clock, because if they run, keep Bryce at about 20 pass attempts, what does that do? That keeps the Rams offense off the clock. Off the field. Mm-hmm. That also, time of possession is in our favor. We got to convert on third downs, of course. Mm-hmm. And we got to play mistake free. But the formula is out there to beat the Rams. They can do it. They just really need to control the clock through the run game. That's the key.
You building on what you said, because you're absolutely right. They definitely need to control the clock. And the way you control the clock is your run game really needs to be really, really good. Your run game needs to be good enough to be able to set up the pass. The thing that I saw even in the Tampa game, even with the refs doing what they did, that I was not a fan of, and I've seen them do this way too many times this year, is they get away from pushing the ball down the field. They go for more of these lateral passes, these smoke routes where receivers are catching the ball 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage and always being expected to make somebody miss. But the problem is a lot of them were missing because they knew the play was coming before it was even snapped, and they were ready to blow it up behind the line of scrimmage. Put you in very costly second and longs, third and longs, and now you're running draw plays and trying to get anything that you can from your running game so that you can kick it to maybe exploit field position. But those are stalled drives that then again put the pressure on the defense to come up with things. The other thing I'll say to that too is, the one thing again with the offense is Dave Canales, I think going forward past this season, needs to relinquish the offensive play caller duties to a coordinator so he can manage the entire game instead of being responsible for deciding pass versus run, and some of those short intermediate passes versus trusting your receivers to get open or run, or even your tight ends to run some type of quick in routes behind the linebackers to give Bryce a chance to get the ball out of his hand.
I'm not that impressed with Canales' play calling anyway. If you go back to that Tampa game when they
Yes.
are inside the 20-yard line and he calls a flea flicker. That is one of the most ridiculous calls I've ever seen.
See,
You're
that's
already
somebody
running it down their throat. Keep
much trying to
running.
be
What are you doing?
trying to be way too cute.
Way too
Just
cute.
play
Unneeded.
the game. But that's where you need that other voice on it with a headset, and you could throw it out and all that kind of stuff. Um, yeah, they got to do something with that in the off season. Another thing is on the defensive standpoint, Ram. Um, Puka Nakua is a beast. And
Absolutely.
if Mike Jackson or Horn play Nakua like they were playing Olave and uh, the other receiver, Pele, whatever his name is, Vele, for the Saints, he is going to cook them if they give him that much of a cushion on every defensive play. You're going to have to. Puka Nakua is a very physical receiver. You're going to have to jam him in them 5 yards. You're gonna have to get physical with Puka. You cannot sit there and play soft coverage with him. He will work that coverage and kill you. You give him enough room to freely catch that ball without any physicality, and then have the chance to turn up the field and then engage with you, you will lose that more times than you will win. He will hurt you with that. You're gonna have to get in his face. You're gonna have to play some man on him to be able to do it. And that's okay. You just gonna have to be physical. I ain't saying, just make sure your timing is good. You're not sitting there hitting him after 5 yards, not turning around looking for where the ball is gonna come, because Stafford is gonna throw some over the shoulder passes to him and things like that to put you in DPI positions and things like that. But keep your hands on him, turn around, track the ball, make sure that you play it right, and give yourself a chance for the ref to sit there and hold that flag back. But if they give him the cushion that they gave the Saints receivers, who are definitely not on Puka Nakua's level, he's going to burn them.
Yeah, my hope is they put Mike Jack on him. I know that Horn is probably the better corner, but Mike Jack is more stronger and a little bit more physical. So I'm
I
hoping that
agree.
they put Mike Jack on him and then let Horn go to the other side, and to get the speedy, shifty receiver. I forget what his name is. That's supposed to be making his comeback to the game. So
Is that Atwell coming back?
not Atwell, but goodness, forgetting his name. He just came from the Raiders. Used to be a got him from a trade from the Raiders.
Oh. Mm, 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 mm.
Right.
Not Jacoby Myers, is it?
No. God, why am I forgetting this guy's name? But anyway, I'll come back to it once I find his name. But yeah, I hope they do it that way, because trying to play Smith Wade on Puka is a death trap. And I just don't think Horn matches up well against him.
Now Devontae Adams is also supposed to be coming back in this game as well.
Devontae Adams is who I'm talking about. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So Devontae should be coming back. Anthony, thank you for chiming in, sir. He said the same thing. People talking about Puka, but Adams is playing this time. And I agree with you, Anthony. But I'll be honest with you. Devontae's threat all year long, and not that he's not a threat in other situations, but him and Stafford really had something going inside the 20 and especially inside the 10,
Big
where
time.
he run a lot of those slant cross routes, catch 2, 3, 4 yard passes into the end zone. So I agree with you. He is always a threat. That's where I feel like JC Horn has a better chance with coverage on him in those situations, trying to get in front of him, and knowing that Stafford would look for him in those quick slants, and knowing that JC loves to try to jump those throws and stuff like that and come up with picks. That's JC's game. Mike Jack is not so much I'm gonna try to jump the route as much as I'm gonna try to knock the hell out of you.
And that's what Puka needs. He needs that type of corner.
That's what Puka needs. Puka, you need to get him his head to make him think just as much about the physical contact as trying to secure the ball. We've seen him catch one-handed passes and stuff like that. So you've got to get physical with him, where he's questioning his ability to get a clean catch on that ball. The last game he had a terrific one-handed catch that it was guarded perfectly, and he still got it. So
Yeah.
he is going to be a challenge all game long, all game long. But you're
Yep.
absolutely right.
And the other thing that the Panthers need to do that we haven't talked about, that offensive line has to play mistake free. And by that, I mean, limit them holding calls. You can't be out there with the false starts that put us in 1st and 15, 1st and 20. Bryce ain't that type of quarterback making his first playoff start to be able to overcome that on a constant basis. So that offensive line has to be clean, man.
Clean.
Yes, and play a clean game, but also, run block, please, run block.
Well, and there is talk that we may be getting Robert Hunt back this week. Finally, he's been out since week 2 when he tore his biceps against the Arizona Cardinals. So that would definitely be a positive if he is good to go and can play a complete game. Puka is Samoan. Nobody going to take him off his game.
He does play with a chip on his shoulder, yes.
Yeah, he does. He does. Hey, you better do something. You at home, it's your field. So I'm just saying, you better do something. And lastly, as soon as it was deemed that the Panthers were going to be the NFC champs for the first time since their Super Bowl run, the conversations online started talking about having number 1 come in to pound the drum pre-game. And I'm looking at reports as recently as 30 minutes ago, and they're actually saying that it's a good chance he's going to be there to do it.
Not a good chance. It's happening, brother. Cam already put it on Instagram. It's happening.
Oh, he put it out there too? He going to do it?
Yep, he going to do it. So I'm thrilled to hear that because like I just posted in the water cooler a few minutes ago, I heard there's been some tensions on both sides after Cam's last release from us. So I'm hoping that, those fences will be mended a little bit in the future.
I hope this is the first step in mending that, because I know Cam had mentioned that he had went into the stadium and saw all these pictures of Panther greats and everything else. And his son Chosen was asking him, Dad, where are you? And he felt like that they were not recognizing what he contributed to that franchise. And I'm not gonna lie, when he was recounting that, and I'm like, man, if that's true, that is pretty crappy. So hopefully they get that right, because the city obviously loves what he did with the franchise and everything else. So they need to fix that.
Say what you want about Cam as a player, as a podcast dude, about his dress and his personality. One thing is not to be questioned or denied. He is the greatest quarterback in Panther history. You cannot front on that. He is.
Yep. Whether you want him to be or not, whether you like the celebrations, whether, like you said, you like the dress. Even early in his career, people talk about how it looked like he sulked on the sidelines, or he didn't dive for the ball in Denver, and all those kind of things. You can have all of that, but that ain't gonna change anything. Jermaine brings up a good point. What are the chances the referees call a Panthers friendly game after the awful game they called last week? Well, one, Jermaine, hopefully it ain't the same refs. Number 2, hopefully these refs have heard enough about what the last refs did and don't miss these egregious calls. I will say, Ted McMillan getting called for offensive pass interference ran.
Terrible.
Oh my! I mean, he ain't got 5 yards, and all he did was just sit there and shrug the guy. That's an OPI.
He didn't even push him. He took his arm off of him. That's all he did.
All he did. Shoot him off.
God,
that's OPI. Or Tommy people's helmet getting ripped off his goddamn head.
People say, "Oh, that's just one call." Well, sometimes one call can affect the mood of the entire rest of the game.
Yeah, because football is a situational game. When did it happen? When in a game where the elements were playing a factor, every possession was important and key. Yes, it can come down to calls like that. Hell, ask the Ravens, can it come down to one play?
You got dang right. I'm sure they're gonna say yes, it can.
People don't think football can't come down to one play. Ask Luke if he wish he
Yeah.
could get that one kick back.
Mm-hmm.
Ask Mark Andrews if he wish he could try to catch that ball again. Ask
You could
Saquon
go,
Barkley when he sat there and fumbled if he can get that ball back.
go
It
on and
can't
on and
come down
on.
to one play. You damn right. What was the
Yeah.
dude? What was the dude from the Cowboys that sat there and got the ball and then ran the wrong way? Ask if he can get that play back. So there are those situations where yes, that one play, but it was more than one play. There were multiple plays in that game where it was so damn egregious that you were like, wait a minute, are y'all just I almost felt like those refs that watched this show listened to me say, oh yeah, the Panthers got a good chance of winning the NFC South. And them refs took it as a personal damn challenge to say, it ain't gonna happen on our watch. I really think they watched the show because it seemed like they were hell bent on making sure that the
Yeah.
Panthers had no chance of winning that game.
And let us not forget about the Tampa Bay receiver who tripped over his own 2 feet. And they
Yes.
called us for the pass interference.
Oh my, that was the other one.
Yes.
He tripped on his own feet.
He tripped over his own 2 feet, and they got us for the PI. Come on, man.
So my question with those are, I thought that there was that are those calls not reviewable?
They're not, but they used to be, and then they took it away, but they need to bring that back. They need to
But
bring
here's
that
here's
back.
my thing. If they're going with that booth review thing now to help correct plays, use it for anything that could be questioned.
Right.
Because the whole thing about plays not being reviewable was, well, if everything's reviewable, it's going to slow the game down. But now that you have that assist that's in game, not it has to go to New York or anything like that. Those assists are really, really fast. So if it's something questionable like that, and hey, if it was 4th and 1 and they do a tush push and then they don't get it, but on the field was first down, the replay assist will help with that. So why not with something like that OPI or with pass interference when he tripped on his own 2 feet, knowing that can have such a drastic outcome of the game. Those are drive changers a lot of times. So, I mean, look, they changed the rules of the damn game for overtime because they didn't like the fact that Josh Allen didn't have a chance to go down and score after Patrick Mahomes did.
Yeah. I mean, come on, they could literally do that. I mean, right now it's reviewable if they do a face mask and the booth sees that they grab this pad and didn't grab his face mask. I mean, they'll take that away. So what's the difference?
Exactly.
What is the difference?
And I saw a lot of that this year where there were questionable face mask calls, but he got inside of the guy's pads. The guy's head turned this way, and it looked like because he pulled on the pads, it looked like he pulled on his mask.
Right.
And when you got to look at that, those are 15-yard penalties at the end of the play.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that teams are now with the dynamic kickoffs are getting the balls now at the 30 and 35 a lot of times, you start adding 15-yard DPIs, 15-yard holdings, 15-yard face masks, things like that. That puts teams in field goal position more, pushes them to go on 4th down more because they're on the positive side of the field. So when you got things like that happening, you got to be able to review those things and get it right. Now with the review assist, it's not going to slow down the game. Get it right so that then people don't sit there and then start questioning again, is the game rigged? Because after that Tampa game, I saw so much about how the NFL is rigged all over again.
Right. And I don't believe it is, but I mean, when stuff like that happens, it calls it into question, and that's not good either. So,
yeah, absolutely. Anthony, I saw. Speaking of Cam, he hadn't been to a game in 10 years. Do stay on TV. Well, he ain't been to the thing in 10 years because he felt slighted by the organization. Because there's a whole lot of history there, Anthony. Even the way he was unceremoniously let go the first time they let him go, it was kind of dirty. And as a Panthers fan, when you look at the way Cam really gave up his body for this franchise. I mean, they made sure that Christian McCaffrey went somewhere where he had a chance of winning, and they took care of him and stuff like that. The way they just kind of discarded Cam was really, really just it was tasteless. I'll say that wasn't our brightest moment when we let Cam go. The way we did it.
Nah, I agree, but not quite 10 years, Anthony. I mean, he did have a second stint here where he came back. I
2021
believe
was
that
his last home game.
yeah,
That's right.
like 2021 or so. So yeah.
Yep. 2021. He had his last home game at BOA. So, and at that point, they were really looking bad, and they were just trying to see something that would work, and they knew it would galvanize the fans because the fans were already at a high level of piss. And again, them knowing that his connection to the city is that strong that they knew that they were getting a shell version of Cam coming back. They didn't care. They were going crazy. He was into it. Again, whether you like him or not, his place with this city, in my mind, is cemented. He's going to be in the Ring of Honor for the Panthers and stuff like that. It's undoubtable. He has to be. Anybody else that goes before him, you are spitting on him, and there would be so much outrage. I don't even think they could survive it, to be honest with
you. Yeah. I mean, at this point, Cam really needs, he needs to be recognized in some form or shape or form. That's all I'll say.
Now, Anthony, don't you start. When the Ravens kicker missed that that kick, I knew it was rigged.
So I'll say this about that. In the world that we live in, which is very unfortunate, that kicker now has reached out to private security because he is getting death threats from the city of Baltimore. His family is being threatened, their lives. Him and his wife, even his daughter, is being threatened. So I don't think the NFL will rig a game or a situation to the point where somebody has to go out and get their own private security. Now that is ridiculous. I will say that, by the way. But again, that is the world that we live in, and that's just sad that somebody would not even somebody, multiple people would do that to somebody over a game. That's crazy.
As much of a fan as I am, I just can't imagine. As much as I may joke about, egging the guy's house and stuff like that, at the end of the day, man, I got bills. I got other stuff. I ain't worried about these millionaires missing a damn kick, I'm saying? At some point I got to sit there and go, me feeling bad for people that will make more money in their lifetime than I ever would dream of is kind of crazy. So, yes, is he going to feel bad in the moment? They're competitors and everything else. I feel for that. As being a fan, I can feel for that too. But at the end of the day, they're going to be all right. One way or the other, they're going to be all right. Oh, Lord, Jermaine, you stupid. I don't even know if I should put that in there. Anthony says, yeah, it's crazy. It's Baltimore. It's crazy here. And then he said,
he lives in Baltimore?
Huh?
He lives in Baltimore?
Yeah, he must. Anthony says he lives in Baltimore.
Oh, wow.
All right, Jermaine. Venezuela has offered to kidnap the kicker and get him out of the country. I won't allow it this time. Oh, Lord. Yeah, so that will be the opening game of Wild Card Weekend. That's going to be Saturday, 4:30, Bank of America Stadium, the Vault. It is going, win, lose, or draw, it is going to be loud and crazy in there. The fans have wanted this. I am definitely glad to be able to see them get this. I'm sad to say that the Panthers are the only team that won their division twice with a losing record. But hey,
I don't even care, man.
I don't care either.
Right, playoffs is always good for the city. This city is in dire need of that win, lose, or draw. A few weeks ago, I talked about playoff experience being good for Bryce, whether he does bad or good. That is also true. It's also good for Canales. Whatever happens on Saturday, the Panthers could take it and build from there. Playoff experience is always a good thing. What I want to see is Cam pounding that drum to start the game. I want to see those end zones painted black with the blue lettering. And I want them black helmets with the blue Panthers on them and that black uniform. Let's go. Let's go.
Get it. Let's get it. Man, every bar in Charlotte is going to be packed. I'll just let you know, especially downtown Charlotte, but not only downtown Charlotte. It is going to be insane. Jermaine, I know you'll be down there doing traffic control. Godspeed, sir. Godspeed. So that is definitely
it's literally like a party for the whole city downtown when stuff like this happens.
So, it's going to be economic boom. All the businesses down there are just going to be, like I said, it's going to be crazy. And they did the right time. 4:30 is good. That gives them plenty of time from 12 to 4 to tailgate, pregame, and all of that good stuff. So they ain't got to get up extra early on Saturday morning to start, even though I'm sure a lot of them will be tailgating well before 12. So you just got some professionals out there that, they just need a reason to sit there and throw a couple back before the game starts. So
right. Don't let them mess around and win either. Don't let them mess around and win.
If they win that game on Saturday, Lord have mercy. They're gonna burn the city down.
That'll be the Super Bowl for us. None of this was expected, right? None of this was expected.
No. Like I said, I gave them 5 wins. They came up with 8. And I can say now it should have at least been 9 because of the Tampa game. And then there were probably even a handful of other games that really could have went the other way. And that could have not easily, but it could have put them at 10 or more. When you start looking back at that, that's why I believe, regardless of what happens Saturday, there's some things that they're going to have to start to look at for this offseason. Canales really is going to have to be challenged about giving up the play call duty so that they can come up with more less vanilla plays when it comes to their offense. Their offense still, in my opinion, is way too predictable. Even if you're scheming a running game, you've got to come up with different schemes for your runners, the blocking, and all of that kind of stuff to create some holes where they can at least get through that first level and then let the running back use their natural gifts to be able to be more elusive in the second level. But if all you're going to do is just have them run straight ahead into a 8, 9, 10 man box, I don't care who the running back is. If it was Adrian Peterson, if it was Alvin Kamara in his heyday, they're not going to have a good even if it was Derrick Henry, they're not going to have a good chance of getting through that time and time again. I saw Jonathan Taylor start to see that a lot more towards the end of the season, and he wasn't nearly as effective as he was. Well, the rest of the team wasn't either, as they were in the first 8 games. So you can be a good back, but you got to have that line that can pull, block, and all those things to create just that little bit of a hole for that back to at least get first level, and then let their talents get them out into the open field and then see what they can do.
Yeah, I already got my Panther offseason wish list.
Good.
Canales, got to give up the play calls. That's one. Raheem Morris, I hope he becomes our defensive coordinator somehow.
Yeah, Evero, if you do want to go and interview, goodbye, please.
Goodbye. Yep. If we get Raheem Morris, we will be strict. Yep.
I agree.
Resign Rico Dowdle. Got to have him. Got to have him back. The fourth one, we got to get some defensive end help. First round draft picks got to be a defensive end, a monster. A monster.
Love it. Love it.
And second or third round, we got to get a playmaking linebacker to put alongside of whoever we got there, or even to replace them. So that's my wish list.
Yeah, since we haven't had a good mic since Kuechly, so we definitely need a mic. And that's going to be your middle linebacker, and really, he's pretty much the quarterback of the defense, identifying run versus pass. If they're doing any kind of shifts, misdirections. That's why a lot of times they're involved in on a lot of the tackles because they're like the headhunter. They know where the play is going. So they need to drop in coverage if they need to press because it's a run. That's where your mic comes from. Shaq tried to do it, but it was on the tail end of Shaq's career. Where you really need a Kuechly. Dan Morgan is in the front office, so he should recognize that more than most. What a good mic out there would do, because he was insane.
Yes.
Between concussions, he was very insane when he was out there. So I agree with you. The last thing that I would add to that list, Rand, and I know it sounds kind of crazy, but would the Panthers be wrong if they at least thought for 2 seconds? Should we call Harbaugh?
Uh,
I'll put it like this: not through official channels, because you got a head coach. Even though I hear that the Dolphins are very messy, and they reached out to Harbaugh with, with having a coach, but those behind the scenes, not like to bring him in for an interview, but to at least gauge the interest. Because, and we'll talk about Harbaugh being let go too, but the fact that he's going to basically have whichever job he wants, would there even be any interest in it and then make that decision to bring
I
him
don't
in?
know. It's like Morgan and Canales are so locked at the hip. I just don't even see them reaching out to have a conversation.
They need to.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't have Morgan or anybody in the front office. I would kind of use my back channels just to kind of gauge it, because as soon as Dan Morgan or somebody officially with the franchise does it, Adam Schefter gonna find out about it and then put it out there, and then it's gonna get messy.
Yeah.
But you can kind of put those back fillers out there, where then even if somebody asks Morgan, he has plausible deniability to say that no one in this organization has officially reached out to Coach Harbaugh. And he keep your hands off of it. People do that.
I will say there's one thing that I left off my wish list. We have to get a mobile backup quarterback behind Bryce, but somebody that will push him too. Somebody's going to push him to be better.
I agree.
He's a little bit too comfortable with that job just being his. That's
speaking of that, it's funny because we've mentioned this numerous times that he's now completing year 3. First round picks do get 4-year contracts with a 5th-year option. Every other round, it's a 4-year contract. There's no picking up a 5th year. So from what I've heard, and it's funny because we had already pretty much predicted this, is that it's more likely than not that they will go ahead and pick up the 5th-year option, which is going to probably put him in the $30-something million range for that 5th year. But they're not going to look to extend him in the offseason, let him play into his 4th year, and either make a decision in season or wait between year 4 and 5 to decide whether to extend him. The whole idea of an extension after year 3 is to try to get ahead of the market so that you don't spend as much money, especially for a quarterback. But at the same time, the question is, if you ask yourself wholeheartedly, has Bryce, and I know it's laughable to even say it, has Bryce Young done enough to make you think that he needs to be paid $50-60 million because that's where the market is for a quarterback?
Hell no.
Hell no. So sometimes it's not prudent to wait. In this case, you damn sure better. Or you gonna end up like Miami with a $90 million dead cap issue with Tua. Or Atlanta, who just restructured Kirk Cousins' contract, but was looking at the same $90 million headache as well. Or Cleveland paying 5 damn quarterbacks and probably looking for number 6 this offseason. So sometimes you do need to wait. Or hopefully none of them end up like Bobby Bonilla, where he's still getting paid 20 years after playing baseball. But but so that's going to be a thing. They're going to have to look at that. So, but we'll have plenty of time to get into where the off season is going to be for the Panthers. All they're thinking about is play or go home. I mean, win or go home, and that's what's going to happen. 4:30, Rams Panthers, Bank of America Stadium. Rand, the second game of that day is going to be the Green Bay Packers against the Chicago Bears. The Bears actually clinched the NFC North.
Yeah. I remember our preseason predictions. We were talking about which team out there that we have picked finished last is going to be that surprise team. I can't remember what you said. I can't remember what I said, but it turned out to be the Bears.
Yeah.
Because definitely had them picked for last. Nobody saw them, outpacing Minnesota, Green Bay, especially not Detroit. But here we are.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and you're right, you looked at Minnesota and you said, okay, they're a little early, but if this team could do all of this with Sam Darnold at quarterback, as long as JJ McCarthy is somewhat serviceable, there really shouldn't be any drop off. And they did drop off a lot. And it validated Sam Darnold even more, because then he goes to Seattle and does the same damn thing record-wise that he did in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And then you see Detroit take a step back. Detroit, when they were playing last year, ended up overperforming, in my opinion, because they had lost more than 11 guys on defense. And they were still producing because their offense was having to basically be offense and defense. And what I mean by that is that 4th and 1 wasn't no different than 3rd and 6. Any 4th down play, the offense knew they couldn't come out because they didn't trust the defense enough to stop anybody. And they really leaned heavily on that offense. This year, the offense was just not as good as the year before, when they had a lot of injuries on defense. And again, I saw a lot of that start to unravel once Laporta went down for them. And then they started having issues where Dan Campbell took over the play calling, and now you see that they got rid of that offensive coordinator and things like that. But the offense still really didn't spark when Campbell took over. It's hard for a head coach to have play calling duties as well. He needs to be able to manage the game and the situations and stuff like that. Some coaches are good at doing that, but a lot of coaches still turn it over to a coordinator.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's too much for a new coach to have to take on. Calling plays and be a new head coach, that's just a little bit too much.
Now, it's funny, they interview coordinators, but once they hire you as a head coach, they don't necessarily expect you to still be a coordinator. They want you to be a head coach.
Yeah.
But to me, I don't know if it's pride, if it's ego, if it's being a control freak, if it's a combination of all of those, what the issue is. But find guys that match your philosophy. You have your meetings, you go over your game plan and things like that. So even if it's not exactly you calling the plays, you should have people around you that you are aligned with, but you're giving them the flexibility to be able to design things that maybe you haven't even thought about, to take away some of those blind spots that you may have and say, I really like to run a lot of spread offense. I like to run a lot of 2 tight end sets and things like that. But then your offensive play caller may say, hey, I know you like to do that, but we don't have the personnel to do that the way you want it to go. For us to be successful, we're going to have to run a base. We're going to have one back in the back. We're going to have 2 tight ends, 2 receivers, or we're going to have 3 receivers and a tight end, whatever that case may be, so that your offense, or hey, we got a quarterback back here that's a rookie, first-year guy. We really need that tight end to kind of be a chipper and then get in the free space so that he has that security blanket. Whatever the case, or he's undersized and he's going to need that tight end for that reason when he steps up in the pocket and can't see nobody else downfield. All of those, you got to be able to look at your talent and make sure that your philosophy matches the talent that you have. or
No, I
that you're
agree.
working with the general manager to try to bring in that talent either through free agency or via the draft.
Agree wholeheartedly, man.
So that's kind of where I see that. But this Packers game, they haven't looked good lately, and Jordan Love's been out. Malik Willis did step up and do some things. They had another guy in last week, and it was absolutely terrible. I'm trying to remember. They played. Lord, now my schedule is gone. I'm trying to remember who they just ended up playing. Here we go. So the Packers ended up playing the Vikings. The Vikings beat them 16-3.
And do you know, as a result of that game, we had one of the most rare studs ever. Ball. Every team.
You went out on me. Every team did what?
Oh, sorry. Every team in the NFC North had a winning record this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But listen to these stats though from that Minnesota game. Total yards 121 to 363. Here's a crazier stat. I had to look at this 17 times. Passing yards, Minnesota 226. Green Bay, I am not making this up, -7.
Yeah, man.
-7. Total passing yards in a full game.
Whoever Clayton Tune is, you just lost your job to every other team in the NFL.
And he did. Look, you played so bad, they benched your ass and brought up Desmond Ridder. That's how bad you played. They looked at Desmond Ridder and they said clearly, you are the better choice.
Clayton Tune. Wow.
Yeah, he got tuned out. And they were teeing off on Tune. They sacked his ass 5 times and pressured him a whole lot more. Every time I clicked on that game, I saw a linebacker getting home on Tune, taking him down. I was just like, good God. It was ridiculous how they were manhandling him. But yeah, he looked like absolute garbage. His stats for the day ran 6 of 11 for 34 yards.
My man passed for 34 yards with 6 completions.
But he has a -7 total because of all the sacks he took. Woo, that's a hell of a day, bro. That's a hell. I don't know if your line gave up on you. I don't know what the hell happened. You know, good God. Jermaine had said before I jumped off of the Panthers, win or lose, what do the Panthers do with Bryce moving forward? Hopefully, Jermaine, you heard the fact of I think he's going to I don't want to say earn, but by default, earn the opportunity to be the starter next year. But to what Rand was saying is they need to bring in a mobile quarterback to challenge him and not just make him the heir apparent, but make him earn it. When he got benched, he did get a little bit better because something finally got taken away from him, probably for the first time in a long time, if ever.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed to inspire him. If he goes into the offseason thinking that no matter who they bring in, they're going to probably move on from Andy Dalton, whoever his backup is going to be somebody not as good. To me, that's not going to work. Number one, you need to have that guy that is almost, if not just as good anyway, because the likelihood of him making it through 17 games is not a given. And we see what happens to teams when there's such a drastic fall off from your number one to your number two. You can't count on that. Even as bad as the NFC South is as a division where 8 games will normally get you in, You can't count on that. You need the availability of your quarterbacks and the quality of your quarterbacks need, and I would say that for all 32 teams, need to be strong. They need to stop having these guys that they bring in and they're journeymen and they know, okay, this guy's not going to push him to be the starter um, in the offseason. We need somebody that is going to be able to do that. Um, I had joked about Mac Hollins coming in to do that. I don't know how mobile Mac Hollins is though, but I know that he's been pretty accurate when he's played. But bringing in somebody that's not at the end of their career that maybe needs that change of scenery kind of thing, where they can go somewhere like a Baker Mayfield did, a Sam Darnold did, and their second act is a lot better than Act One. That's
Yeah.
what you're going to need for Bryce. Anthony says the Bears MVP this season is Ben Johnson. I cannot disagree with you on that one, even though he wouldn't be an MVP. But I get what you're saying. Is that he came into a franchise that seemed to eat up and spit out quarterbacks, and have no success after being one of those franchises that people looked at a certain way to just now be the Bears doing the Bears things. Chicago was going down that road of becoming Cleveland 2.0. And hopefully this is just the tip of the spear with what Ben Johnson has been able to do with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I was not expecting this success in year one. Of course, I thought he would turn things around next year. I thought this year would be like that little bump, just a little bit better than they were last year. But my Lord, man, he just came in and just instant results.
He absolutely did. I mean, I can't say enough about what Ben Johnson ended up doing with this team. They end up at 11-6.
Crazy.
Just absolutely crazy. The Lions did get a win on them on this past Sunday. But if I'm not mistaken, at some point, a lot of the teams said, you know what, let's go ahead and arrest these guys. And they pulled them out. Philly did that. I saw Buffalo do that. I think Chicago did that, where they just said, okay, whether we're up at a certain point or not, they coming out. And that's what they did. So they're arrested. They do have to play because the number one seed ended up going to who ended up with the number one seed in the NFC?
Seahawks.
Yeah, that's right, Seattle. So Seattle ends up with the number one seed. So they end up resting. So 2 through 7 end up having to play. So we will see that this Saturday.
Before moving on, changing topics, I just had to pull up Caleb Williams' stats for this year, and they are mind-blowing compared to last year. I'm not even going to look up last year, but this year he had 3,900 passing yards, almost a 4,000-yard quarterback. He was 39-42, 27 touchdowns to 7 picks.
Damn.
Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson did a number on him, man.
That is crazy. That is crazy. Yeah, you say that. Stafford ended up winning the passing title, I believe, with 4,700 yards. Jared Goff inched out Dak Prescott by 12 because Dak got pulled out for the second half. Dak ended up in third at 45. But your top 5 passers were Stafford, Goff, Prescott, Drake May, year 2 Drake May, and Sam Darnold.
Yep.
And Sam Darnold, you can kind of believe because the leading receiver was none other than JSN.
Monster season.
1,793, almost 1,800 yards. And literally right behind him, no surprise, Puka Nacua at 1,715, George Pickens at 1,429, then Jamar Chase, then Amon-Ra St. Brown. Unbelievable. Myles Garrett did finally break the record, 23 sacks. And the closest guy behind him was Brian Burns at 16.5. And then he had Daniil Hunter, Aiden Hutchinson, and then Nick Bonito with the Broncos at 14. Crazy, 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 crazy. So yeah. So yeah, looking at that Chicago game though, Rand, it is in Chicago. Are you leaning towards the Bears in that game?
More than lean, I got the Bears confidently. I do not like what I've seen out of the Packers in the last few weeks.
Hmm.
I do like what I've seen out of the Bears in the last few weeks. To me, these are two teams headed in opposite directions.
Agreed. Agreed. Does this with the and we're gonna get into this too with the amount of coaches out there available. Should LaFleur feel any heat?
I don't know. Maybe a little bit. Maybe a little bit.
I mean, I would imagine that he's probably not going to get bounced if they lose, but should the warning shot kind of go out in the offseason that you better get this thing right quick? Now, we understand that, Parsons went down. Um, they just picked up um, Diggs. So see what that looks like in the offseason, and then they go back into next season. But I think he's going to be on a short leash going into next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see the Packers fans accepting the fact that the Bears, you know what I'm saying? That the
Yeah.
Bears are sitting there looking like they're going to pass them.
Yeah.
And seeing if Kevin O'Connell can even get Minnesota back on track next year, and if Dan Campbell can get Detroit back on track next year, the Packers fans are not going to relish the fact that they're going to be prognosticated to be the fourth best team in that division.
And that is a hell of a division, man. That is
Right.
a war right there.
Exactly. They ain't gonna yeah, I think LaFleur might have enough equity to have one more year, this year being this way, but next year if he pulls this again, I think he gone.
Yeah.
I think it's a wrap.
Especially if the Bears whip their tails in this playoff game and finish above them again next season. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I always harken back to Aaron Rodgers always telling the Bears fans, "I own you. I always have,"
Yeah.
and it was true. And now that he's not there, they don't own the Bears anymore.
Mhm.
Oh, who's your daddy done changed on them. So that'll be interesting. Those are the two games on Saturday. Sunday's going to have 3 games, and then Monday we're going to get a Monday night football game, which is going to be real interesting. Going to be your boys. We'll get to that one in a second. But we've got the Bills, who didn't win the division for the first time in a long time, playing on the road in Jacksonville against the surging Jaguars, who won the their division, won the AFC North. I mean AFC South.
Yeah. That's also crazy to believe.
I don't know how this is going to go because they're going to Jacksonville, so it's not like they're going to be playing in Highmark Stadium, which they played their last home game in Buffalo. So now they got to go to Florida. So there's no advantage of them, cold weather, anything like that. James Cook still has to be dealt with. If they can maintain James Cook and really get after Josh Allen and make him uncomfortable in the pocket, Jaguars have a good chance of winning this game.
They do.
Um,
I'm still going to go Buffalo with this one. Just a feeling. This to me, this is one of the more tightly contested games on the schedule.
agree.
It's just hard to pick a lean on this one, but I'm going to give the odd to Baltimore, but not Baltimore, but Buffalo, because they've been here, done that sort of.
I was thinking the same thing. I knew you were going to say that. You got a MVP quarterback that's been to the playoffs many times, and now you have Trevor Lawrence. All the good things that he's been able to do this year that has not manifested in previous seasons. Yeah, you did enough to win the AFC South, but this is a whole new season that starts this weekend. And a lot of them are going to be in that position for the first time, where there's a lot of players on that Buffalo side. Regardless of who the receivers are, you got the tight ends, Kincaid and Knox, who have been there, done that. You got James Cook. You got Ray, what's his name? Cook's backup. So you got a lot of those guys. You got Sean McDermott as a coach who's been there, done that. You got a lot Hill, and then of course Buffalo got a lot of ex-Panthers. So that's all they do is take the Panthers. So Shaq will be in that game, as a matter of fact. So that'll be interesting to see. I agree with you though. It's going to be a heavily contested game. I don't think it's a blowout by any stretch of the imagination, but I think when it comes down to it, the experience versus the non-experience is probably going to play more into it at the end of the game.
This is Super Bowl or bust for Buffalo. The teams that have been their headaches for the past 5 seasons, they're gone. Cincinnati's up there. Up there.
That's true. And you bring up a good point with that is that, hey, everything that was holding you back before is gone. But the problem is now in its place, there are some teams that could give you a fit because you waited so long. So if you ain't getting better, you're getting worse because everybody else is getting better. So that's the one thing that you always have to realize. And that brings me to the 4:30 game on Sunday, which is going to be the San Francisco, Lord have mercy, the San Francisco 49ers, who I thought was going to have a down year. You got 3 teams from the damn NFC West in the playoffs. And the 49ers will be going to Philadelphia to play the Eagles.
Yeah, man. That is also going to be a hell of a game, too. Hell of a game.
I'm going Eagles, and not because they're my team. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Eagles are going to exploit Brock Purdy. I think they're going to be in his face the entire game. I think that the defense is going to win that game for them. It's not because I have any confidence in the offense, because the offense is up and down. Even if the offense scores 35 points by halftime, that might be all they score in the rest of the game. So I can't count on that offense. When they go in the tunnel, sometimes they don't come back. I don't know what the hell happens, like zombie snatchers. But I'm looking for guys like Cooper DeJean. I'm looking for some of those guys out there to really, really get after it on defense. I'm looking for their front 4 to put a lot of pressure on and things like that to really force Purdy to have to throw the ball. I see McCaffrey being that extra receiver and probably having more success catching the ball than running the ball. I don't see him having a good time running the ball, but you get him out in the flat and stuff like that, put him in the slot. Yeah, I see him being able to do that. But the other problem with that is I've seen it where when McCaffrey lines up in the slot, Purdy gets tunnel vision. And all he does is look for McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll start to lead the team in receptions, even though you got Pearsall, you got Kittle, you got some of them other guys out there that are very capable of exposing a defense. When McCaffrey starts to line up in the slot, a lot of times I see Purdy start to zone in. I likened it to Jake Delhomme and Steve Smith. And I'd be like, don't look at it the whole time. Like, why are you staring at him? And I know who you throw it to. But he would do it. And he had those games sometimes where he just start throwing a bunch of picks. This is one of those games. I think they're going to feast on Purdy. I say he throws 3 interceptions.
Oh man, I hate going against your boys, man.
I know, because I couldn't blame you. They give you every reason to. They go up and down. They're inconsistent. They're consistently inconsistent. So I can't blame it. For every reason I tell you that I think they are going to win, I could give you the same, if not more, reasons why they could lose.
Yeah. It's just, they've just been so up and down, inconsistent, like you said.
Mhm.
I wish they would have gave Hurts a little bit of time this last game. They did not. He'll be stepping in there with, in my eyes, a little bit of coldness. So,
Yeah.
and you never know how that could go. Maybe he does do good with the rest. Again, this is one of those ones that's very hard to pick as well. But
Yeah. You
I
got
just see
some
the
time, you
49ers
got some
redeeming themselves.
time zone
Yeah.
moving where the 49ers got to come all the way over. So that's
Yeah.
always a thing. I can't imagine that's gonna affect them because they're probably gonna get into Philadelphia a couple of days ahead to get acclimated to that. And get their bodies used to uh you know playing in that time zone and get all the jet lag shaken off and stuff. So um I just expect it to be, and I don't even know what the weather is forecasted for that, um and how that could play into it as well. But I see it being a pretty tight game, as long as Jalen Hurts doesn't revert back to throwing the ball. If I see or have seen the play caller turn it into a very conservative game, this is the game that he needs to let them cook. You need to let Goddard get loose. You need to let Brown and Devontae Smith get loose. Um, if they do that, they got a chance. If they sit there and run, pass, three and outs, they're going to lose. Period. They're going to lose.
Yeah.
Whoever
Philly
converts them
just
on
has not
third
looked
downs, I
like,
think it's
yeah. Philly just has not looked like last year's Philly that often.
well, they thought that they could use the same recipe from the year before and they were going to get the same success. And that's
Mhm.
just not true. You're not going to say, well, we'll just keep doing the same thing. Now, normally, what you say is, we'll keep doing the same thing until you stop it. Then you do something different. Well, they stopped it in week 1. So, I mean, shit. You just kept on trying to do it anyway. Like, no, it don't work like that. You're gonna have to figure something else out. That's why a lot of times rookie quarterbacks do well slump a little bit in the sophomore season because now teams have a whole year of film on them. It's not that the rookie actually gets worse; it's that the other teams have adapted. That's all. So yeah, they couldn't figure out how y'all were scheming with Saquon the year you went to the Super Bowl. They done figured it out.
Mhm.
So you got to change it up a little bit. You got to um, be more creative than that. So they get paid way too much money not to be creative. The Sunday night football game is going to be a good one too. It's going to be Chargers at the Patriots. The Patriots, man, have impressed me all year long with seeing what Drake May has been able to do. Um, and as much as you'll say, he can hurt you with his ability to run and stuff like that. You see how poised he's been as a pocket passer because he's uh, fourth in the league in passing yards. So as much as he's done with his legs, he's really getting it done by putting the ball in the air.
Yeah. I Drake May, you know how I feel about Drake. I said he was going to be the bomb before he even played his first game
Yep.
because I saw everything I needed to see at UNC. I
Wish
think
he'd come
he's going
back.
to be.
Come back,
Yeah,
Drake. We need you.
God, I wish we had him back. Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
side note, Gio, peace out.
Peace, dude. I
Bye-bye.
ain't crying for that. I ain't crying for that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Those in the transfer portal, come on. Appreciate you. Yep. See
Sorry, I
ya.
had to get that in there. I saw
Yep.
that. I was like, yes.
Yes. Thank God. Get them up out of here. Bye. Bye, Felicia. Bye.
Oh God. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I
But
thought
yeah,
about
Drake is just he's just gonna be poised in this game. Nothing is shaking him all season long. I don't think nothing's gonna shake him in this playoffs. I think the Patriots will put Christian Gonzalez, their best corner, up against Lad McConkey, their best wide receiver on the LA side, and I think the Patriots are gonna dominate from there, man. I just do.
Me too. I think the run game, whether it's Travion Henderson, Ramondre Stevenson, they're going to do well. I think Hunter Henry is going to be instrumental in this game as him and Drake seem to have a really good bond and chemistry. He knows where Hunter is going to be. I always thought Hunter was a decent tight end, but Drake is making him look like, one of them top echelon tight ends. Not along with we've seen with Kelsey all those years and stuff like that. But right there, I've seen a resurgence of Hunter Henry being alongside Drake May.
Yeah, man. You can call me crazy for this. Some of y'all will, but I think this game has potential to get out of hand even more so than LA and Carolina. So
I agree.
yeah.
Oh, absolutely, for a lot of reasons. Chargers play in California. They're gonna be in Foxborough
Yeah,
in January.
right.
Most people do not go to Foxborough in January on purpose, especially ones from California.
Right.
You might want to go to Mass, but you ain't gonna do it in January on purpose. So that's gonna be a problem. I don't care how many damn days you get there early. That brick is that brick. So, and it's likely to snow on your ass. So, and if it is snowing, it is going to be even worse for them. Because let's keep in mind that any elements could affect Herbert because he will still be wearing a cast, I believe, on his non-throwing hand. But that still comes into play because even if you have a cast on your non-throwing hand, like Aaron Rodgers would find out, that changes the way that you hand the ball off, that you and everything else. So there's going to be adjustments that he has to make, and even to the ball carriers that he's handing the ball off to, so that they don't end up hitting his hand by mistake, and making it worse. So because you got to remember, you need Justin Herbert to play the whole game.
Oh yeah, God, yeah.
Because Trey Lance is your backup.
Yeah, you have zero shot if he doesn't.
So yeah, you want to protect Justin Herbert as much as you possibly can. Now, Justin Herbert needs to hear that because Justin this year has been running a lot more this year, design runs, than he ever has, and they're going to have to protect Justin from himself. Now, and now, Anthony, it's funny that you're saying this. I only read part of it, but I knew somebody was going to say this because I heard somebody else say this earlier, that New England padded their record because they had a lot of soft games early in the season. Part of that is true. But as Bill Parcells says, you are what your record says you are. Anyway, I hate to say this, but New England haven't proven anything to me. You play on who's your schedule, but it hasn't been against good playoff teams. I mean, that's a fair criticism, but I don't look at just who they played. I look at how they played.
I do too.
And I will say my criticism of Kansas City, as an example, even before this year, was even when they would go in as the dominant team, too many times I saw them play down to their competition, letting them hang around in the third and fourth quarter, giving them hope, giving them a chance that a untimely interception or a fumble or a missed field goal could turn the game around. I didn't see that a lot with New England. They beat who they were supposed to beat, and they clearly beat them. I didn't see them letting teams just hang around that shouldn't hang around. They took care of business early and often. Hell, one of them last games they played, they were just sitting there going to the woodshed on them. I'm trying to think who the hell it was. They were just beating the wheels off of them. I know they did that to Miami 38-10, and it was really 38-3.
It's
They
been
scored.
quite a few teams they've done like that. They beat the hell out of the Panthers 42-13. I'm looking at the schedule right now. They also beat the Bills, barely, but it's the Bills, good team. They destroyed the Titans 31-13. They destroyed the Browns 32-13. So to me, it's like if you play a bad team, get them the hell up out of there. Get them off your schedule. And they've done that. They wiped like the bad teams. They wiped the floor with them. They beat the Giants 33-15. That's an ass whipping. So yeah, you can go on and on with this. 42-10
and that's my point, because you can't choose your schedule, but how you approach those games, it to me is just as important as, well, did you take plays off? Did you sit there and kind of, walk through the first three quarters knowing that you just flip the switch in the fourth quarter and you go ahead and win the game anyway. No, it looked like they sat there and had their foot on the gas from the time that the game started till the time the game ended.
Did you allow
That says a lot. I mean,
Did
because
you allow-
you could lose interest in a game where you. Mhm. Yeah. And because how many times have I seen the Panthers sit there and let a rookie quarterback like the second coming of Dan or Steve Young?
That's what I was just about to say for my own boys. Did you allow a rookie quarterback,
Yeah, go ahead,
Shedeur
Rand, I'm sorry.
Sanders? That's what I was about to say for my own boys. Did you allow a rookie quarterback, i.e., Shedeur Sanders, to whoop your ass?
I thought about you that week because we had talked about it before we went on break about how I don't know what the hell it is with y'all in Cleveland lately.
You know I was not good.
You know, and I sat there and I said, now, if we had that show that Monday, I was like, oh God, it wasn't gonna be good at all. Because I'd already brought up the fact that the year before it was Jameis, now it's damn Shedeur, and I'm like, God dang.
Gotta be kidding me, man.
It's I mean, it's a self-writing joke. I mean, it writes itself. You know, so it's just like, what the hell is wrong with them with the Brownies? Brownies can't beat nobody else, but you put Pittsburgh on the schedule, they got a shot. I'm like, God, it shouldn't be that way.
Absolutely.
But then the same said Steelers team goes and beats the Ravens. They swept them this year.
Swept them. And you know, it's before the season started, back in the preseason, I predicted the Steelers' record to be 10-7. I thought that would be good enough for second in the AFC North. It actually turned out to be fun. But I did predict them to be 10-7. However, I had no idea how stressful it would be to get to that 10-7 mark. Good Lord, man.
How much cardiac arrest could potentially come from
you.
Oh, well, the Monday Night Football game is going to be something because you're going to have the upsurgent 12-5 Houston Texans playing the 10-7 Pittsburgh Steelers. It's going to be at Acrisure. It's absolutely crazy. The Texans, who last year could not keep CJ Stroud off the ground, has done a lot better. And I'm going to tell you what, as much as they talk about how well CJ Stroud did, and I was hearing somebody talk about that on ESPN radio or something like that. No, NFL Network, NFL radio, about Houston and the defense stepping up lately. All that is true. CJ Stroud not taking as many sacks, throwing the ball down the field. But I will say this, and I think people forget about this. There was a 3-game stretch where CJ Stroud was unavailable due to a concussion, and Davis Mills came in there and performed admirably. Actually won a game for them because of his play. They did well during that stretch, but I can remember one game when he took control and won that damn game on his own. It harkens back to what I say. Hey, had they not won those games, they wouldn't have won. They probably would not be playing the Steelers right now. So the fact that they had Davis Mills come in and keep the ship afloat is the reason that we're talking about them playing the Steelers. More than their defense, more than anything else, not having a drop off at quarterback is the reason that they're playing this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Pittsburgh has done very well this year, but they're going to be tested Monday night. No doubt about it. That offensive line, especially with Anderson and Danielle Hunter out there, we're going to have to keep Rodgers standing. In my opinion, you're going to see a lot of quick passes to ease up that pressure. You're going to see a lot of passes to the running backs. That's what Rodgers has kind of been doing in order to.
Gainwell Gainwell has been one of your most productive receivers.
Gainwell actually is our leading receiver, believe that or not.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely believe it. Yeah, because I had him in fantasy and I started him every week.
Yeah.
Which would sound crazy because he's Warren's backup. So you wouldn't think that you could start him in fantasy, but yeah, he was out there like a receiver. Especially when Metcalf didn't have anybody opposite of him to take the pressure off. That was kind of a de facto receiver. Now Metcalf will be back in this game. That's going to have an effect. You got Freiermuth, but you lost your other big tight end on IR. What's his name? Big dude.
Yeah, 280 pounds of him. I know you're talking about his arm.
But yeah, they're coming to your place. Yeah, I agree. Anderson, Danielle Hunter is going to be a thing, but I think I'm giving the Steelers the nod on this game.
I'm also giving the Steelers the nod on this game. It's going to be tough, but Metcalf. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Metcalf coming back is going to be huge. Again, that quick passing game is how they're going to have to move the ball down the field due to their lack of receivers. They're definitely going to have to get Freiermuth involved as a big target over the middle. And I think they could take it at home, where Mike Tomlin has been king over his whole career.
And I'll add to that too. They're going to have to possess that ball.
Yeah.
Let me see here what Anthony said. Plus, remember, Pittsburgh scored and had offense without DK being there. Yeah, I mean, it shows that you can score without him. But they're going to really have to control the time of possession, limit how many opportunities Houston has, because their defense can be just as deadly, potentially scoring the ball as their offense. I don't know if Nick Chubb is going to be out there. They're going to have to lean heavily on Woody Marks trying to run that ball. You're going to have your receivers out there, Nico Collins and those guys out there too. But control time of possession, convert third downs, things like that. Pittsburgh has a chance to walk away with not only being in the playoffs, but winning a playoff game and keeping Mike Tomlin's tenure as the longest active coach in the NFL going.
Man, look, like I said, I've talked a lot of junk about Tomlin, especially after that Cleveland Browns loss. Hell yeah. But all is forgiven with just one playoff win. If you could win this playoff game at home, coach, I will welcome you back next year. But you got to do that. And what you definitely can't do is go out there and be ill-prepared and get down like 24-0 at your home stadium, because we've had too much of that since Roethlisberger retired. Can't have that, man. It's been ridiculous.
Can't have it. I will say, too, on another note, Rand, there were my New York folks, we're on a group chat, and they were losing their minds on Sunday because the Giants refused to just tank the game and give it to the Cow Bitches. As if they were playing for a playoff spot, even though both of them had been eliminated long before that. And they were mad because they were like, you know, they didn't want to hand the Raiders the number one pick and that. And I'm like, y'all got to understand, as players, they're not concerned about the offseason and who has the number one pick.
No.
A lot of those guys are playing to put good film on for their agents to be able to shop around to the other 31 teams in the event that the Giants decide to move on from them. So why in the hell are they going to worry about if this team gets the number one pick and they may not even be on the damn team? That is a fan reaction and a front office point of view. But players are competitive, whether they play for the Giants, the Raiders, any other sucky team you want to add in, the Browns. A lot of them are going to play because they have been doing this since they were kids. They may not
Yeah.
be on a good team, or it may not, or the team results may not show the way different individual results show. But they play from a different point of view, which is why Max Crosby for the Raiders was pissed when they shut him down with 2 games to go, because he made it clear, I don't give a F about trying to get the number 1 pick. If I'm out there, I'm going to play to win. And they couldn't take the chance that Crosby was going to sit there and wreck the games where they would lose the number 1 pick. And I brought up the fact that I remember even Lovie Smith had that same idea, knowing that Houston was going to fire him. He played that game to win, won the game, and they ended up not getting the number 1 pick because of it. So those are fan reactions and front office thoughts a lot of times. But when you're out there on the field as a coach or a player, you are a competitor first, and you're trying to win the game. But they were all like, Brian, you don't understand. You're not a New York. They were telling me in the chat, you're not a New York Giant fan. You don't get it.
Man, it doesn't make any difference. It's
Exactly.
a fan reaction, according to
they were trying to give me the business, Rand, telling me that.
No,
yeah,
and
and Rand,
called me, I would have had you back.
Rand, all I told him was, guys, y'all need to relax. I said, you're going to end up with a top 7 pick. If you believe that you have your quarterback, you're not going to have to overreach for a quarterback. Even with the number 7 pick, there are going to be teams in front of you going for quarterbacks, meaning that the guy you want should either still be there, or if you still want to swap with a team that's still a little lower to get not only their pick in the first round, but then get a second round pick or a 2028 pick, you got the ability to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, they have nothing to worry about. The Raiders are going to take Mendoza. That's a quarterback. New York, you do not need a quarterback. Dart has shown you that. So you're going to get the second best talent off of the board, second or third, whatever. So it really doesn't matter. And when you go around, I'm just going to stay in the NFC when I say this. Teams like the Packers, the 49ers, the Eagles, Giants, and the Commanders are never going to lay down to Dallas. I don't care what the situation is. They're never going to do it. The rivalry is too bitter.
Back. Come on, bring it back. Okay, I'm back. There's Rand. Okay.
I don't know what you missed, man. I don't
know. You said something about staying in the NFC.
So, yeah, I said I'll just keep it NFC. Teams like the 49ers, the Packers, the Giants, and the Eagles.
That's crazy.
They're never going to lay down to Dallas. I don't care what the situation is.
Exactly. We could both be 0-16. We win in that game.
You daggone right. It's the Cowboys.
I'm sorry. It's the Cowboys. You got to. I mean, but yeah, they were going back and forth talking about, are you effing kidding me? And they were like, and then when I said, hey, they're competitors, they're going to play. One of them's response was, and that's why he should have put all the starters on injured reserve before the game.
Oh my goodness. I hate when people talk sports and they don't know sports, man. That is such my pet peeve. Goodness.
I'm reading the thing and I'm going, what? Put all the starters on IR?
First of all, are they injured? You just can't throw people on IR. It's like, good night, man.
He said, because he's like, yeah, I know they're going to sit there and be thinking like that, so we should have just kept them off the field in the first place and put them on injured reserve. And I'm sitting there thinking, that is not a mechanism used that way. But oh my God, it was about 8 of them. They were losing their minds about why the Giants were playing so hard and stuff. And I'm like, look, them guys are playing because they need to make sure that they're doing everything they can to stay in this league as long as they can, because a lot of them will tell you that NFL stands for not for long. And you need to maximize your playing and earning potential in that league because Father Time is undefeated. It wins.
The
It
average
does.
length of an NFL career is 3 seasons,
That's crazy.
not 4
That's crazy.
long.
Yeah, yeah. The average length of for players is 3 years, but fandom can last for 50, 60, 70 years. So, that's one of those things
Yeah.
where you're looking at it through the lens of how long a fan can go versus how long a player can go. Someone said, Anthony says, and we're about to get up out of here. Anthony says, someone said when John Harbaugh were fired, huh? Jerry Jones was on this plane to meet him. I think if he could get him, he will fire his head coach now so quick. You talking about Jerry Jones? I don't see John Harbaugh playing for coaching for Jerry Jones. I think he would have a pick of open teams, but you got to be a certain kind of coach to play for Jerry Jones, I believe.
Jerry Jones is too involved.
Yeah, I don't see him getting in that mess. There's a lot that goes with that. I think John Harbaugh is going to be the number one candidate. I was really surprised when Raheem Morris got fired from Atlanta. They act like Arthur Blank acts like he had a lot of good choices. Penix was up and down. Kirk Cousins had fallen off. Before that, they had Desmond Ritter, Taylor Heineke. What did you have at the quarterback spot? You really started to see guys like Drake London, Kyle Pitts really start to take off this year. You saw Bijan Robinson be that bruising back, that all-purpose back that we were sold. He was initially drafted. I started seeing all of that, and then you let the guy go. It's absolutely crazy. Like I almost feel like they looked at the same idea of what they want, and they just kind of cleared Raheem out.
Yeah. So I'm hoping Panthers can pick him up.
I don't know why they got rid of Raheem Morris. That just doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh no, God, yes. Please let Evero go. Bring in Raheem Morris. That would be a hell of a defense. Bring in an OC. I think they would have an opportunity to fight Tampa for the South again next year if they did that. Any other surprise firings that you saw on Sunday and or Monday?
Of course,
Gannon gets let go in Arizona. Dan Quinn let go of his. Pete. Yeah, that was the biggest one. After 1 year, I don't know what they expected Pete to be able to do. I think him bringing Chip Kelly in as his OC was probably a bad move from the get-go, and he waited too long to fix it. That just wasn't the right scheme for Ashton Jeanty. But Brock Bowers missed a lot of time with his knee. Even when he was playing, you could tell that knee was still bothering him. I just don't know what they expected that team to do.
Yeah, I mean, he can't fix all their issues within 1 year.
No, absolutely. That one was a big one. Like I said, Washington got rid of Kingsbury and their defensive coordinator. Who else got fired? Somebody else got fired too.
God, I can't think. I know those are the main ones. So.
Yeah. I know it was a handful of them that had gotten let go. I'm trying to remember who all got fired in that. Somebody else got fired.
Oh, Stefanski got up out of there. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's right. And what do you think that's going to end up doing with the Shedeur Gabriel thing? Are they going to go back into the draft and try to find another quarterback?
You never can tell with Cleveland. I think the proper thing to do would be to keep the two that they have and try to mesh that out. And then pick up some wide receiver talent for their first round pick. But it's Cleveland, so you never know.
Okay. Yeah, so it's been John Harbaugh, Pete Carroll, Stefanski, Raheem Morris, Jonathan Gannon, and then of course Dayball got let go mid-season for the Giants. So those are your openings right now. So a lot of coordinators are being linked to a lot of jobs already. The Tennessee job, forgot about the Titans coach, but he'd been letting go. Callahan. So yeah, you got about 6 openings. So there's going to be a lot of talk right now. So we'll see how that goes. I'm surprised Jets head coach didn't get fired. I'm sure that they talked about Aaron Glenn a lot before they rested, bringing back same thing. Scott.
Oh, Aaron Glenn did get the axe.
And lastly, say again, how did Aaron Glenn what?
Oh no, I thought Aaron Glenn did get the axe for some reason, but now they kept him.
Yeah, they kept him. But I'm sure that was a back and forth conversation. I don't think that was as secure as it ended up being, but I think that they were on pins. He was on pins and needles about that. Same thing with Mike McDonald down in Miami. He's coming back, even though that they gotten rid of the general manager. And I am seeing now where a lot of general managers are staying, even though the coach is going, which is a little surprising to me because normally they go in pairs, like they did in Atlanta, where they did let the GM go, Fortno go when they let Raheem Morris go. But we shall see. I know we ran over a little bit. We had a little bit of football to get into, y'all, this week. So we will be back next week to recap this wild card weekend and look into the Monday Night Football game between the Texans and the Steelers. Hopefully we get some good news on Saturday. So that'll start your weekend off good, Rand, and then hopefully we can end it with a Steelers victory on Monday.
Yep, that's what I want to see.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all for tuning in for another week of Head to Head Sports. We will see y'all again next week. If you're betting, make sure that you bet with your brain, not with your heart. Y'all be safe out there, and let's get it going in 2026. We'll see y'all next week.